Hi, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A session. You can go to joeryan.com/group to sign up. It's an excellent opportunity to see what the coaching experience is like for me. Bring your questions. You can ask me anything that you want, wherever you're stuck, what you're struggling with, codependency, addiction, relationships, family systems. You don't need to be ready. Show up messy. Messy is better here. We'll work through. I'll give you some tools and some skills to take with you so that you can work on your own and start this healing journey process. Looking forward to seeing you. Go to joeryan.com/groups. It's going to be 60 to 90 minutes long, and it's $35 a person. Hope to see you there. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is learning how to resolve our relationship with our most abusive parent. Everything stems from there. All of your friendships, all your intimate relationships, coworkers, bosses, the way you view the world. When you're in your hurt and your pain and shame and unresolved anger, you have all these walls of defenses. If you can somehow figure out how to resolve all of your anger and your hurt and your pain with the source figure relationships, your life will dramatically change. Everything stems from there. I had left my family for about 6 or 7 years, and I slowly started to work my way back in. I did an extensive amount of work on myself to find where my defenses are, where my walls are, where my fears are. I had people who had no boundaries that just kind of came in, took me over, trashed me emotionally, and I never felt safe in my own body. So me leaving them and doing the work was to figure out how I can learn how to protect myself and still let people in. Because the thing I want most, the thing we all want most is connection, but it's also the thing we fear most because we don't trust ourselves. Like, I'm an addict for approval. I fear rejection. I need to be liked. I need to be valued. I need to be seen in a certain way because the way I saw myself was disgusting. I mean, just so hateful. There was nothing that I liked about myself. All the things that I pretended to like was all an act. So I had to get in and see where my roles were in this and why I'm not living the life. I'm not having the relationships and the friendships that I have. And part of it was I didn't resolve my source figures. I didn't grieve the loss of a happy childhood. I didn't grieve the loss of the parents that I needed that I didn't have. I didn't grieve the loss of the emptiness and neglect and the abuse that I endured. I didn't grieve. And it completely destroyed friendships and relationships and kept me isolated, kept me fearful. I'll dip in a little bit, I'll show my face, and then there's too much exposure. Then I got to go and hide out for days or weeks before I show up. Did I say something stupid? Did I look bad? Or people think I'm weird or talking about me. I don't want to go back for a while. I'm in my shame. We have to resolve it. And all the years that I spent not being around them and then slowly coming back, I had built the strength. I had found a surrogate family, specifically my buddy. I think I talked to him about it in another episode. He unexpectedly died of colon cancer. And I don't grieve well. I don't deal with loss well. I don't attach to people on deep levels because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of getting hurt. I'm afraid of getting disappointed. And the friendship I had with this guy was like no other. Like, it didn't matter. I could be a dick. I could be isolating. I could wall off. I can push him away. It didn't matter. The guy never left. Like, it was as close to unconditional friendship that you could ever have. And when he passed away, I legitimately grieved the loss. I've had 3 big losses. That was probably the biggest one of all of them. And in that grieving, by not mood altering, by not, trying to meet somebody to distract me, by not pouring pills down my throat, by not being a lunatic and acting crazy and getting into fights, all the things that keep me away from my feelings. I legitimately grieved the loss. And the one of the reasons that it was so hard to grieve the loss is that I he kept wanting to get in further and closer. And every time he did, I would wall up, I would push away, I would withdraw. And I was just very fearful. As close as he had gotten to me, and nobody I don't think has ever gotten closer, I still needed to keep him out. He went to the hospital 5 weeks later, he was dead. So there was no warning. There was no making it right. There was no working it through. It was, I got to do whatever I can for the limited time that he has and try to get everything out of this friendship before he goes. Everything that I couldn't allow myself to get out of it before because of the way I wall up and the way I'm protective of myself. And I'm going a long way to say that the grieving that I did, because I feel like he got the short end of the stick and he deserved better. And I said that to him. I go, bro, he goes, I wasn't always the best friend to you. And in his deathbed, he reached up and he grabbed me by the shirt and he pulled me down. He goes, don't you ever fucking say that to me again. So his perception and my perception, I guess, was a little different because I knew the ways that I wasn't good. But in that grieving, I got to really, it hurts so much and it still hurts. Like it's hard even talking about it now. I had to look at my defenses because I never wanted to feel that pain again. I never wanted to feel that regret. I didn't want to grieve on that kind of level because I was incapacitated for months. I mean, I couldn't function. It was bad. It tore me down. And through the grieving process and understanding where I'm a complete asshole, I was able to see where it had come from. And it came from childhood, came from the relationships I had with my parents, the way I protected myself from then. I don't know how to let somebody in and feel safe at the same time. And I didn't want to go through this again. And I would like to, live happily ever after with somebody, have a partner, walk through life. But I knew the way I am, that's not going to be possible. So what I took was the way I was in the friendship, the way I was in my last relationship, and I tried to identify how it was with the relationship I had with my caregivers growing up. And what I had found out was the way I protected myself back then is the way I always protected myself. You see, I was still that scared little child who never learned how to emotionally grow up, who never learned how to protect themselves, who never learned how to set boundaries and feel strong and confident in my convictions and who I am and what I believe and what I'm willing to put up with. You see, I'm so worried about loss that I couldn't stand up for myself because setting boundaries as children just equaled loss. It equaled beatings. It equaled neglect, punishment, isolation. They needed a certain amount of supply. And if I was taking care of myself, that took the supply away from them. And that's never good. It just never turned out good. They needed to be everything. So I had to be nothing. And I protected against being used, being taken advantage of, where all the guy wanted was a closer relationship. The guy liked me. I liked him. We got along extremely well. The conversations were incredible. We had a shorthand. We saw the world the same way. It was just, it's everything you would have wanted in a friend. And I met him at my worst. And it was just a gift that showed up. So we got to go back and resolve it. So now I'm back with my family and I'm working through some issues. And, I never had compassion for my parents. I never had an understanding because I was just so angry and so protected. And after going through this grieving process, I found compassion and understanding for myself. And now when I'm around my parents, I get to see them as scared, unloved children. And all of the anger and the self-hate that I had for myself that I worked through in the grieving process of him passing, there's a love and a compassion and understanding that I have for myself now. I am nowhere near as hard on myself as I used to be, and that's translating to the people around me in my life. And I get to see my parents in as children, as emotional children who were never loved, who were never cared for, who were never nurtured in the ways that they should have been. They used me to fill that hole up in their soul, and I understand it now. There is no more anger. And now I have a choice. See, I was obligated to take care of them emotionally. I was guilted, shamed, abused, beat, whatever it is that I had to keep them happy so that I was safe. And now that I go back, and Mother's Day's tomorrow, so maybe this is why it's coming out of my head. I know what my mother wants. I know what my mother needs. And I purposely don't give it to her out of spite because that's the only control I had. She wants me to be close to her. She wants me to be loving. She wants me to be caring. She wants me to value her. Well, fuck you. I ain't moving until you lean in and I get what I need. And now it's a completely different story. Like, I get to acknowledge Mother's Day tomorrow. I get to see that she had a hard life. That, yeah, did she use me to fill herself up? Yeah. Was it wrong? Yeah. Did it fuck me up? Yeah. Did it cause me a lot of anger? Does it keep me from having healthy romantic relationships? Yeah. All the above. But after losing him and realizing that the way I was no longer works, that I've learned how to protect myself as I'm letting people in more. And this is the goal. It's to get strong within yourself, to get real protection, not that people pleasing, codependent, walled up, anger, like all the ways that we do it. The more you protect yourself from bad, it is just protecting yourself from good. I could have had so much more good times with this guy. I could have had a better life for decades if I would have just resolved the anger within myself and found a way to feel safe within my body while letting people in. But you're in so much fear. You're in so much pain. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust the world. The people that were supposed to take care of you blew you up. So who the fuck are you supposed to trust? Well, it's yourself. You got to learn how to trust yourself. And I always say about sitting in your feelings and sitting in your pain. And people are like, well, how long do I need to sit in my pain? I said, you have to sit in it long enough till you fucking understand it. Till you have a clear vision of why it's there and what you do to protect against feeling it again. That's how we become safe with ourselves. We have to get in there and understand the origin of the pain until it makes sense without a shadow of a doubt. You understand it inside and out. And then you don't have to fear being exposed to something that's going to tap unresolved pain. And when you start resolving the pain and understanding it, you're going to get angry and you're going to get pissed off. And that's when I left my family because I was fucking pissed. And I couldn't do the work and be in their life because I am compulsed and addicted to caretaking for them. So how could I take care of myself when my addiction is to take care of them? Because my safety relied on it. Even as an adult, as a grown man, I'm still caretaking for them. And I'm doing shit for myself. So I had to get them the fuck out of my life so that I could focus on me and not worry about them. They're grown-ups. Let them figure their own shit out. But now I get to be what I want. And I help a lot of people. I love my clients. I love coaching. I love taking people out of pain. Yet the people who should want to be closest to, I spite the fuck out of them and I don't give them jack shit. But now I can give because it's a choice. It's not an obligation. It is not a need out of safety. I get to give them what I give everybody else. And when you don't have those walls and you're not living in fear and you can be open, it's just such a fucking easier life. It's scary, it's difficult, it's painful getting there, but you got to start somewhere. I don't recognize myself for the way I used to be, but have never felt more like I'm supposed to feel, which is at peace with myself. I'm not at war with me and I'm not at war with anybody else. I have family members that would stab me in the fucking heart with a pencil if they had the opportunity. They feel so, I guess, betrayed by me or hurt or whatever it is. And I have no anger towards them. And I just look at them and I'm like, you're only hurting yourself. I don't need you to like me. Enjoy your anger. Hate me all you want. It is occupying so much space in your mind and your body that you're never going to be free. I understand that you're protecting something. Maybe me leaving and shining light on the fact that we are a dysfunctional fucking tribe where you all pretend that we're not. Maybe you don't like that mirror. But it makes no difference to me whether you like me, don't like me, want to hug me, or fucking stab me. Because I'm good internally. And this is where you want to get to. You want to start every time you get angry, every time you get triggered, every time you go into a shame spiral, every time you feel like isolating, every time you feel that anxiety coming up. These are signals. It is like a flare being shot up. This is where you need to look. That's it. It's a signal. It is not to be feared. It is not to be run from. It is not to be disassociated from. It's not to pretend that it's not there. It is to be leaned into. It is a roadmap back to the pain that you need to re-experience, to relive, to identify, to understand so that you can become free, because every piece of pain, every slice of hurt, every morsel of rejection and abuse and neglect has to be processed and understood, because every one of those things causes more protection. And the more that you are protecting, the less free you are. And when we are not free, we are not happy. It runs on its own. It's almost like all of my defenses ran all of my choices, all of my decisions, and most of them were bad in my life because I couldn't make a good decision to save my fucking life. But it all comes from all of those unresolved feelings. And they're all from childhood. So when you can start resolving them within yourself, you take the power away from the people that cause them to be there. When you don't resolve them on your own and you don't work on them, you are looking towards other people to do it for you, which leaves you powerless, helpless, and a victim. When you start taking responsibility to work on resolving it yourself, you become empowered. And when you want to get addicted to surprising yourself, to being impressed with yourself. Every time I work through something that normally I'd act like a fucking child when it happened, and I handle it like an adult in a mature way, I'm always impressed. And I love that feeling. And I don't get applause. There's nobody here going, great job, except me. I get to enjoy the fact that I was capable of healing a part of me. And that's all the validation we need from us. We need to start validating, loving, caring, and parenting ourselves, and stop being codependent and giving it the power to somebody else who can disappoint, hurt us, not show up. You are the only person who will never leave you. So you should be the most important relationship in your life. And yet you give away everything to these fucking yahoos who promise you the world and give you nothing. They see the helpless victim that we are when we show up. And they get to use, manipulate, control us for their own good and then fucking spit us out when we're done and we're left with where we were before, but worse. Less self-esteem, less good feelings, more self-hate. It's an inside job. No amount of money, fame, status, love from the outside is going to heal you. You are going to heal you. So get to it.
Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.